Hi everybody, it's Jeff, and this will be part 5 of the Meng Whippet tank. Made quite a bit of progress here. Okay. The only thing that still needs to be done is I need to do a matte clear coat. But I just put the oils on a little while ago, and I'm waiting for those to dry. Okay, so let's go down to the bench, and I'll show you what I did to get to this point. Okay, be right back. Okay, here's the tank as we left it in the last episode. This has been painted with the Mr. Surfacer 1500 black. Everything was painted with the Mr. Surfacer. Just giving you an idea, or a refresher, I guess, of what it looked like. Okay. Okay, here we are with the olive drab. Okay, just a basic paint. I didn't do any pre-shading. Well, I'm going to try and do some more work with the oils, for shading and things. This is Vallejo 71043 US olive drab. Okay, and I've got on this, I still have the recognition stripes, the red and white here, and underneath here, and then this side I've got to paint the mufflers and the guns. Okay, and then of course clear coat it, and decals, and then more clear coat, and then weathering. The tracks, I painted them of course first in Mr. Surfacer, and then I did them in Vallejo metal color. A little gloss. Can't even see that. It's 77 712 steel. There we go. Okay, so I'll probably use that same color for the guns. Then these are the small tools that'll be added to the side. Those are painted in I painted them in olive drab first, and then I painted the tools with the steel also. I'll get those on, and then I'll weather them from there. Okay, these are the grousers, I believe is what they're called. Okay, got the little bolts on the side, and this is painted with Vallejo wood. The ends are steel, but the centerpiece is 71077 wood. These will be hanging on the sides and on the back of the tank. What they're meant to be is to aid traction, in mud and things. They're supposed to clip on the tracks. But I have I think the kit came with about 20 of them. So those are all painted up and ready to go. And I've got the tow cables, got the ends on the tow cables. I'm gonna prime this with the Mr. Metal primer, and then I'll probably paint them steel also, and then I'll weather them with some oil and things. But I've got both of those made up. Okay, very easy to do. So that's where I'm at right now. I've got to. I'll use this 71080 for the mufflers, and then I've got 71084 fire red for the stripe, and 71001 for the stripe. Then I got my doggy here. What are you doing, huh? Oh, been outside. You're wet. Yeah, we still got snow on the ground here. Alrighty, well, I'll be back in a little bit. I'll get these masked up. Alright. A little bit of Tamiya tape. I think this is 16 or 19 millimeter, and 6 millimeter, and a little bit of white tack. So I've got the white done. this panel here, and in the front of these two. I'm going to have to let these dry for a little bit, and then I've got to mask them off and do a red stripe. The red stripe's going to be really difficult to get a nice clean line because of all the texture there. First thing I did after masking it was I painted the area in green again. Let's go back to the other camera here. Here we go. Okay, so those are painted white, and then I'll come back and I'll mask two sides and I'll paint a red stripe. Okay, I'm going to give it a little time to set up first. It looks like I've got a battery going dead. I'll have to change it. Anyway, I'm going to let this set for a little while and do a few other things, and then I'll get that red stripe painted and I'll be back. Thanks, guys. Painting's all done. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how it came out. I'm expecting some bleed over here because of the rough surface. There's just no way you can get a, maybe with the blue tack or the white tack I could have got it real tight. We'll see. Got it taped up there pretty good. Yeah, that don't look too bad. Just a little bit of bleed under the tape. Nothing bad. Okay. I'll have to use the old blue tack or white tack on itself to clear that up. Oh my boy, that stuff is sticky. Gonna take a bit of work getting all that out of there. Got a real delicate little part there. Hang on, let me get a knife. I don't want to break that little part. I'll cut it. Get rid of these. There it is. Okay. Trying not to break anything. I'll have to separate my tape from my white tack. Come on. There we go. Folks probably can't see what I'm doing. Just a little bleed under there, nothing that can't be touched up. By the time I do a bit of weathering and washing on this, it'll dull that color down just a little bit. Well, that's pretty much got it. I got just a little bit of tape under there I still need to get. Gonna have to get some better tweezers. These just aren't, they don't grab anything. Well, let's see. There we go. Okay. There's just a little bit of white tack residue right there. I can get that off with no problem, but there's a little bit in there too, but I'll get it. Anyway, there's our red and white. I'll do a little touch up where it bled under, where it was so rough. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good. No major problems there, no paint pulled or anything. Okay, next thing will be, I've got to paint the exhaust pipes and the guns, and we'll touch up this little bit here. What I did, I measured the space I wanted here, and this was 24 millimeters, so I divided it by thirds, so I made each stripe approximately 8 millimeters. And with this over here, this was 33 millimeters, so I just did 11, 11, 11. I think it did just fine. Anyway, I'll go ahead and clean up the rest of this stuff, touch those up, and I'll get the mufflers painted and stuff, and I'll be back. Okay? See you in a bit. Bye-bye. Well, I got a little carried away. I started painting the exhaust. And I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and paint the guns. Then I thought, well, I'll go ahead and clear coat it and let that dry. So I clear coated it. Then I decided, oh, I can do the decals. So I did the decals. Then I put these, I guess they're called spuds. I put those on here, here, and here. And I put the tools on. And I put the tracks on. Okay, these tracks were not fun. Very, very tight fit and just a tiniest little bit short. It may have had something to do with paint or something, but you'd connect them and then it would pull apart somewhere else. Then you'd put it together and it'd pull apart somewhere else. So I finally ended up leaving a slight joint way down at the bottom, and I just glued them on both sides. They were both the same, but they look good, I think. So I've still got, I painted these, the tow cables. I painted them a steel color. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to give this another clear coat to seal in all the decals and everything, and then I'll leave it set overnight probably, and then I'll give it a wash and do a little weathering in the morning, and that'll have this one finished. So I'll be back after this has had a chance to dry overnight, and we'll get some weathering done, and then we'll call this one good. Okay. For you, it'll just be just a second. Thanks. Okay, I made up a pin wash using my oil brushers, and I went over all the nuts and bolts and crevices and everything, and I used the rust oils, and I did kind of a real light wash on the tracks, and I put some on the exhaust also. I still got the tow cables to put on, which won't take any time. I just have to wait until the oils are dry, which is going to take a little while. May take 2-3 days. And then I'm going to do a matte coat on this. Okay, so I'm going to call this a kind of almost a final, I guess. A final, but not quite. So I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to let the oils dry good, and then I'll do a matte, and that'll probably finish things up. So there's Caesar 2. I really had a lot of fun building this kit. Okay, so you guys all have a great great holiday, and I'll be talking to you real soon. Okay, bye-bye. Thanks.